We want to make food a fundamentally different way to help people who are switching to a keto diet. People are really hurting without this. We want to take keto bread to the masses.
All right.
All right.
Jess,
Hey.
welcome to the Uprising Podcast.
Oh, thanks for having me.
You're welcome. This is actually the first official podcast.
That's
so
awesome.
Also thank you for being first.
Of course. It's a pleasure.
Good. So the Uprising Podcast is all about helping folks who are on some sort of health transformation journey. And we want to bring on people like you who are an expert in one dimension or another. Get to know you a bit, let people hear what you're all about, let people hear some of your stories, some of the things that you've collected as wisdom over the years. So I'm just going to ask you questions, and I'll put myself in the shoes of the listener, and ask them the questions that come to mind, and then we'll go from there.
That sounds awesome.
All right.
Ready.
Awesome. So why don't we start by just diving in a little bit to what you do for a living, like help people understand kind of what's your day-to-day look like.
Yeah. So I am a registered dietitian nutritionist. I have been an RD for almost 10 years. I got my undergraduate degree from Ohio State University, go Bucks. And then I came down to Cincinnati and went to University of Cincinnati and got my master's in science degree. From there, we actually have to do an internship that's about a year-long training program that you can be placed all over the country. And so I was actually placed at Children's Hospital of Philadelphia. And from there, I moved back to Cincinnati because that's where I'm from, and got a job at Cincinnati Children's Hospital. In our training and in school, we never were taught about the ketogenic diet at all. So when I came to Cincinnati Children's Hospital and I was hired into a position where I was working with children who have epilepsy and seizures and using food as medicine with the ketogenic diet, I was like, what is this? As a registered dietitian, talking about how 90% of your calories are coming from fat was just completely foreign to me. So for the past, because we're always taught about my pyramid and my food plate and having everything balanced, and then all of a sudden you're telling me I'm cutting my carbs down to less than 20 and going up to 90% fat. It was just really crazy. So I spent the past 9 years really delving into the ketogenic diet world, specifically with children who have epilepsy. And just recently I started to branch out a little bit besides working with just pediatrics and helping adults, because there's so much research that's coming out about using the ketogenic diet for almost anything that you want right now. But specifically for weight loss with adults, type 2 diabetes, Alzheimer's, autism, traumatic brain injury, brain cancers. It's growing, and it's the best field to be in right now. So.
And kind of crazy that it sounds like you really didn't get exposed to this during your formal schooling.
Right. So the ketogenic diet has been around for hundreds and hundreds of years. And really, it actually fell out of use for children with epilepsy when all of these anti-epileptic seizure medications kind of came into play in the 1960s. And then it came back into the mainstream world in about the 1990s with the Charlie Foundation, which is the foundation for the ketogenic diet therapies. So if you ever want to check it out for epilepsy, they have tons of information on there. So
yeah, and for the listeners, folks who don't know, since Uprising is based here in Cincinnati, and actually the way I met you originally was, I had found out that we have this Cincinnati Children's epilepsy practice. And I'm starting a keto bread company. I'm like, oh my gosh.
Perfect, right?
These are our people that we're trying to help. And I forget, it was through for all you customers, you know that we're an e-commerce only company, and we use a mix of FedEx, UPS, and Postal Service. But actually our UPS rep